Today we're sitting down with my old friend Eli Schleifer on the day of his first product's launch. If you're writing code with a big team, you need Trunk. Today's video is mainly for software engineers, so it's okay to skip this one if you're not one of those. Let's get started. Eli, congrats on your launch today of Trunk. You're one of the best engineers I ever worked with way back in the day when we were starting our careers at Microsoft. So what is Trunk?
We are like DevX in a box. So what we're announcing today is the launch of Trunk Check. It's our first product. It is the meta linter. And it's basically what we call like the one linter to rule them all. Trunk Check is all about making sure that in your repository, every single tool, your static analyzers, your linters, your formatters are all being run on all the technologies in your repo. Even the most basic repository today tends to have 5 to 10 technologies in play. So you might have your core Python code or your core Rust code. And the truth is you also have Docker files and Terraform formation files, and you have bash scripts. All these things have formatters, linters, analyzers have to be run. And you do not want to have someone on your team maintaining that. Because if it's someone maintaining it, that means they're forgetting to maintain it. What you want is basically a tool to take care of all this for you. So that's what Trunk Check is. You install Trunk into your repository. Every single one of your engineers has hermetically downloaded and installed versions of every single tool in your repository that is being run. What we're going to do a demo for that today on an open source repository. The repository is called YAML CPP. It's a very popular C++ YAML parser. Let's take a look. So the first thing we do is we run trunk init. So I already have a curl down trunk onto my machine. I run trunk init. And what you'll see quickly is the first step we do is we analyze the repository. In this case, we say analyze all your files. We found 402 files in your repo. And we actually turned on 11 different linters. And this included stuff for client format, which is your C++ formatter, ActionLint, because this repository uses GitHub Actions, Black, which is an awesome Python formatter, Buildifier for the Bazel tools, Flake8, GitLeaks, iSort, Prettier, all these tools are commonly turned on, kind of one-offs by individuals, but here we've done that all for you, and literally in seconds. So we've turned on 11 linters, and we kind of tell you, here are the things we've turned on. For some of them, we've put in, reasonable defaults for those linters, but beyond that, it's up to you to go and tweak them to your heart's desire. All of these tend to be open source tools that people are running one-off, but what we're saying is this should all be managed by a meta tool that's going to make sure it's all being run. And the big value here is that it's being run for you on your box locally. This is not a job that's happening in CI. Traditionally, if I'm running like a super linter at a GitHub, what happens is I do a bunch of code, then I send that off to GitHub, right? Well, now GitHub has now become like a 10-minute asynchronous process to tell me that I have like a spell check problem or that my files are not sorted correctly. That's ridiculous. Like, you wouldn't tolerate that from Google Docs to wait 10 minutes to tell you misspelled something. You shouldn't wait 10 minutes for your linter to tell you you have a linting problem. Not only that, it's expensive. It means because not only are you running your linters in the cloud, but also you're running all your unit tests and integration test suites. Those cost money. They also burn machines. And while that's happening, you're just like twiddling your thumbs. And we kind of think that a lot of engineers get stuck in like rinse, wash, repeat cycles. So we're going to solve that for you with Trunk Check. So as soon as I've installed this, I've initialized it. I'm going to run Trunk Check. And what we'll do is we'll call here sample 5, which is going to say, find me 5 files for each linter you've turned on, run it, show me kind of what my results are, because we just turned this thing on. And quickly you can see here, a bunch of issues popped up. I have Python issues, I have formatting issues, I have problems with my markdown. So when you run trunk init, you actually generated this trunk YAML file. Inside the trunk YAML file, we believe everything should be configuration as code. So you can see here in the enabled list, here are all the linters that have been turned on, along with the versions for each of those linters. So as new versions of linters come out, you can change that version that is pegged inside your trunk.yaml file. And now that's the new version that's going to be used. As new versions of tools come out, often those new versions actually represent security fixes or better rules that could be enforced on that repository. With one run, trunk check space upgrade, we'll go check the internet, find all the latest versions of those tools, and we'll peg those back in your YAML file. And you commit that. Now everyone is running those new versions of the tools.
Linting is static analysis and security checks, and it sounds like you can actually find really high severity bugs, and it's somewhat normal for you to do that when you drop Trunk into pretty much any code base out there. So not using this is like driving drunk then.
Yeah, absolutely. Just last week, I came across a very popular open source security tool. Installed Trunk onto that repository, ran it, instantly picked up two high severity security issues in Golang in this project. Now, if you looked at the commit history of this repository, 2 years ago, someone ran Golang CI lint on it, very popular Go formatter and linter. What we turned out is, well, no one has run it since then. And that's what Trunk is all about. Make sure that you're always running the latest versions of these tools. If you're running old stuff, you're susceptible to security problems. We want to make sure that you're always running the best and latest of everything.
So, Ellie, where can people get Trunk? It sounds like it's available today. It's open source and it's free.
Absolutely. So it's open source. It's free for open source projects, free for small teams to use for commercial uses. Go to trunk.io. You can get the link right there. Download it. Love for people to try it out and take it for a spin.
That sounds great. Thanks, man. Congrats on the launch today.
Thanks for talking, Gary.